In the serene expanse of Nevada's desert, the unexpected arrival of the Threx vessel had transformed the barren landscape into a hive of activity. Government officials, military personnel, and the world's leading scientists, including exobiologist Jack Carter, convened under the shadow of the massive, glowing ship. Jack, a tall man with a rugged beard and a scholarly demeanor, was joined by Dr. Alan Hayes, a physicist known for his dry wit and sharp mind. Together, they approached the landing site, their steps measured under the watchful eyes of the world. "Never thought I'd see the day," Jack murmured, his gaze fixed on the looming alien craft. Alan chuckled softly, adjusting his glasses. "Hope they're friendly. Otherwise, this could end up being a very short meeting." As they neared the ship, a panel slid open silently, revealing a trio of Threx. These beings were taller than any human, with smooth, silvery skin that shimmered with bioluminescent colors, communicating their mood and thoughts. The lead Threx stepped forward, its skin flickering with hues of blue and green. "Welcome, inhabitants of Earth," it began, the translation devices working seamlessly. "I am Lyrex, designated emissary of the Threx civilization." Jack stepped forward, extending a hand, a human gesture of peace. "I'm Jack Carter, and this is Dr. Alan Hayes. We come in peace and hope to learn from each other." Lyrex looked at Jack's hand, then back at his face, the colors on its skin shifting to a curious mix of purple and orange. "Your customs are unknown to us, but we perceive no threat." Alan observed the exchange with interest, then added, "We're curious about your journey here. There must be much we can share." As they spoke, another human joined them, Major Tom Bennett, a military liaison tasked with security. Tom was broad-shouldered and stern-faced, but carried an air of diplomacy. "Our primary goal is to ensure this meeting goes smoothly for all parties," Tom stated, nodding respectfully to Lyrex. Lyrex's skin pulsed thoughtfully. "We seek only to understand and to be understood. Our worlds are vastly different, and there is much to bridge." Jack smiled, relieved by the peaceful intentions. "Let's start with something simple. On Earth, it's common to share knowledge over a meal. Would you join us for dinner? We've prepared a variety of foods, considering possible dietary restrictions." Intrigued, Lyrex and its companions murmured among themselves, their colors dancing rapidly. Finally, Lyrex nodded. "We accept your hospitality. It is an agreeable method to commence our dialogues." As they walked towards the temporary structure set up for the meeting, Jack leaned towards Alan. "Did you see their skin change colors? I bet it's not just for communication. There might be a whole spectrum of emotions we don't understand yet." Alan nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. Every color, a different note in their emotional symphony. Fascinating. Inside, the tables were set, and the Earth's representatives stood ready to bridge worlds with conversation and cuisine. Jack, Alan, and Tom took their seats, facing their new alien counterparts. "This is an historic moment," Jack said, addressing everyone around the table. "Let's make it count." As the meal progressed, the humans and Threx exchanged ideas, questions, and laughter, the air filled with the sense of a beginning. Jack felt a profound connection, a spark of mutual curiosity that transcended the vastness of space. A connection that promised not only to redefine humanity's place in the universe, but also to understand the mysterious, glowing beings across from them. The dinner with the Threx had ended on a high note, with both parties seemingly eager to deepen their newfound relationship. However, the mood shifted dramatically the next morning when Lyrex summoned Jack, Alan, and Tom for an urgent meeting at their spacecraft. Upon arrival, they found Lyrex waiting for them, its skin pulsating with a dark crimson hue that they hadn't seen before. The atmosphere was tense, the air charged with a palpable sense of urgency. "Lyrex, what's the matter?" Jack asked, noting the stark contrast in the Threx's demeanor from the night before. Lyrex's voice was grave. "We have observed your interactions with other life forms on your planet, particularly your domestication of animals. This practice is deeply troubling to us." Tom exchanged a puzzled look with Alan. "I'm not sure I follow. Are you referring to pets, like dogs and cats?" "Yes, these pets you speak of," Lyrex continued, its colors shifting to a deeper red. "To us, this is an unacceptable manipulation of life. In our culture, touching another being is a profound act of control and dominance. We cannot condone such behavior." Jack tried to keep the peace, his voice steady. "It's a form of companionship on Earth, not domination. Our pets are part of our families." Lyrex seemed unconvinced. To ensure the sanctity of all life, we must request that your people immediately cease all physical contact with non-human species. Failure to comply will lead us to take defensive measures. Alan stepped forward, his tone diplomatic. Perhaps there's been a misunderstanding. Could we show you the bond between humans and animals? Maybe if you see the context, you could understand our perspective better. The Threx conferred among themselves, their colors flickering rapidly in what seemed like a heated debate. Finally, Lyrex turned back to them. We will consider your proposal, but know this, our patience is limited. As they left the spacecraft, the three men convened a quick meeting outside. We need to tread carefully, Tom remarked, clearly worried. This could escalate quickly if we don't handle it right. Jack nodded. Let's arrange a demonstration. Maybe bring in some experts, a vet, a dog trainer, someone who can explain the bond professionally. And I'll prepare some literature and videos on animal behavior and human-animal bonds, Alan added. If they can see the mutual benefits, perhaps we can change their minds. With their plan set, they started organizing an event that they hoped would not only showcase the positive aspects of human-animal relationships, but also avert an interstellar crisis. They understood the gravity of the situation. The fate of Earth's relationship with the first extraterrestrial civilization they'd encountered could hinge on the success of this demonstration. The days following the ultimatum were a flurry of activity. Jack, Alan, and Tom organized a comprehensive presentation on human-animal relationships, including expert testimonials, live demonstrations, and an array of educational videos. The site chosen for the event was a peaceful outdoor location, thought to be more relaxing and conducive to open-mindedness. As the Threx delegates arrived, their skins displayed a kaleidoscope of colors, indicating a mix of curiosity and skepticism. The human team greeted them warmly, hoping to ease the palpable tension. Jack initiated the proceedings with a gentle tone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share a part of our world that is very dear to us. We hope that what you see today will help bridge the gap in our understanding. The first demonstration involved a dog trainer with her border collie performing agility exercises. The trainer explained, "The relationship we have with dogs is built on mutual trust and respect. Each command is learned through positive reinforcement, not dominance." Lyrex watched intently, its colors fluctuating. After the demonstration, it spoke, "This interaction is complex. Your control is gentle, yet it is control nonetheless." Alan chimed in, presenting a video on the evolutionary benefits of domestication for both humans and animals. As you can see, our pets have evolved to live with us. Domestication was as much their process as ours. The Threx were silent for a moment, their colors dimming as they processed the information. The next part of the demonstration involved a veterinarian who discussed the care and medical attention given to pets. Our role is to ensure they lead healthy, happy lives. We work to prevent suffering and treat illness, which I believe aligns with your values of sanctity of life. Lyrex responded more positively this time, its color a lighter shade of blue. Your compassion is evident. This is something we respect greatly. However, the idea of ownership of another life form remains troubling. Tom decided to share a personal story to help the Threx relate on an emotional level. I have a dog named Ranger. When my mother was battling illness, Ranger stayed by her side every day. His presence comforted her when human words fell short. Our pets often choose to be with us, sharing our joys and sorrows. The atmosphere softened considerably as the Threx mulled over Tom's words. Jack proposed a final part to the day. We'd like to invite you to visit a local animal shelter. There, you'll see firsthand how we care for animals in need, many of whom have no homes. It's a place of compassion, not control. Lyrex agreed, and the group traveled to the shelter. As they toured the facility, observing the care given to the animals, the Threx's colors became more tranquil. Watching a volunteer gently pet a rescued cat, which purred contentedly, seemed to make a particular impact. As they left the shelter, Lyrex paused and turned to Jack. Today has been enlightening. We see that your interactions with these creatures have many facets. We need time to discuss these learnings amongst ourselves. Jack nodded, feeling a cautious hope. We appreciate your openness and willingness to understand our ways. We look forward to continuing this dialogue. The day concluded with a new sense of understanding and a glimmer of hope that perhaps humanity could indeed forge a peaceful path forward with the Threx. Despite the hopeful signs during the animal shelter visit, tensions unexpectedly flared anew when a cultural misstep triggered a diplomatic crisis. A newly released documentary intended to celebrate Earth's biodiversity inadvertently showcased scenes of humans interacting with exotic wildlife. The film, which included footage of humans swimming with dolphins, riding elephants, and interacting closely with primates, was broadcast internationally and caught the attention of the Threx. Lyrex summoned Jack, Alan, and Tom to their spacecraft once again, their skins emitting a harsh, flickering red that signaled their distress. As the trio entered the meeting room, the atmosphere was thick with disapproval. This film, which we have observed, displays humans exerting dominance over other species. It is precisely the behavior we find unacceptable, Lyrex stated, its tone more accusatory than in any of their previous encounters. Tom stepped forward, trying to defuse the situation. The footage you mentioned shows activities that some humans do indeed participate in, but it does not represent the entirety of human interaction with nature. These activities are controversial and are increasingly being discouraged as we learn more about animal rights. Lyrex's colors shifted to a rapid pattern of orange and black. Yet, these practices exist and are celebrated. How can we trust a species that prides itself on such dominion over others? Jack intervened, his voice calm and steady. We understand your concerns, and we admit that our relationship with other species is complex and evolving. We are far from perfect, but we are learning and changing. Let us work together on this, not in opposition. Alan added, perhaps we could establish guidelines for responsible interaction with all forms of life, a set of principles that both our species can agree on. The suggestion seemed to momentarily soften the Threx's stance, their colors cooling to a calmer blue and green pattern. We will consider your proposal. However, we must take actions to ensure no further harm comes to Earth's creatures while these guidelines are being discussed. Before Jack could ask what Lyrex meant by actions, the Threx abruptly ended the meeting, leaving the humans uneasy about what the Threx might do next. The answer came the following morning when reports flooded in from around the globe. Zoos, wildlife reserves, and even private farms reported the disappearance of animals overnight. Surveillance footage revealed Threx ships hovering over these facilities, beaming the animals aboard and vanishing without a trace. The world was in uproar. Governments demanded the return of their animals, and public opinion, once curious and somewhat sympathetic to the Threx, turned fearful and angry. Jack, Alan, and Tom convened an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders to formulate a response. We need to de-escalate this situation without provoking further action from the Threx, Jack advised, deeply concerned about the potential for a conflict. It's a show of power, a demonstration that they can act on their threats, Tom noted grimly. But it's also a message. They want us to take them seriously. Alan proposed a diplomatic approach. Let's request a meeting on neutral ground. We need to negotiate the animals' return and establish a clear dialogue about Earth's biodiversity stewardship. With the stakes higher than ever, the trio prepared to confront a delicate situation that could tip either towards peaceful resolution or open conflict with an alien civilization. Their mission was clear: ensure the safe return of Earth's animals and demonstrate humanity's commitment to ethical and compassionate treatment of all life forms. With Earth's plea for a neutral meeting accepted, Jack, Alan, Tom, and a delegation of Earth's top diplomats journeyed to Threxia, the homeworld of the Threx. The planet, dominated by vast luminescent forests and towering crystalline structures, was both alien and awe-inspiring. Upon landing, the delegation was escorted to the Threx High Council, a grand chamber where the walls themselves seemed to pulse with light. As they entered, the Threx Council, comprised of members whose skin glowed with a harmonious blend of colors, greeted them with reserved curiosity. We come seeking understanding and the return of our planet's animals, Jack began, addressing the council with a mix of diplomacy and urgency. The head of the council, a Threx named Myren, replied, her skin flashing a complex pattern of colors. Your presence here is a testament to your seriousness. Yet you must understand our actions are not hostile but protective, Tom interjected, his voice firm yet respectful. Taking our animals without consent can't be seen as protective. It's perceived as an act of aggression on Earth. Alan added, we propose a mutual agreement that respects both our needs. We need our animals returned, and you need assurances about their treatment. Myren considered their words, her colors shifting slowly. Your proposal is reasonable, but actions speak louder than words. We will deliberate on this matter. The Earth delegation was then shown to their quarters, a gesture of goodwill, yet they were not permitted to leave or communicate outside the council area. It was clear they were being held, albeit comfortably, until a decision was made. During their confinement, Jack and his team discussed their limited options. "We need to demonstrate our commitment in a way that transcends these negotiations," Jack suggested, "showing our respect for life, perhaps through a gesture that aligns with their values." Alan nodded. "Maybe a conservation initiative, something that benefits both our planets. We could involve them in our environmental protection programs, show them our efforts to preserve biodiversity." As they formulated their ideas, an unexpected opportunity presented itself. A young Threx named Tyron, fascinated by the humans, visited them. Tyron was different, her colors brighter and more varied, indicating a curious and open-minded nature. Through conversations with Tyron, the humans learned more about Threxian society, their deep-seated fears of domination, and their almost sacred view of life. Tyron expressed interest in Earth's environmental efforts, particularly the concept of wildlife conservation areas. Seizing the chance, Jack proposed to Miren through Tyron that Earth and Threxia undertake a joint conservation project. This initiative would not only secure the return of the animals, but also establish ongoing collaboration between the two species. Miren was intrigued but cautious. "We will consider your offer. Such a project could indeed serve as a symbol of trust and cooperation." After intense deliberation, the Council agreed to the joint project and the return of the animals on the condition of continued Earth-Threx collaboration and oversight. With this agreement in place, the Earth delegation was finally allowed to return home, their mission fraught with challenges but ultimately successful in averting a deeper crisis. As their ship departed Threxia, the Earth delegates felt a mix of relief and anticipation. They had not only navigated a complex interstellar dispute, but had laid the groundwork for a future where Earth and Threxia could coexist and prosper together. Following the tense negotiations on Threxia, Jack, Alan, and Tom returned to Earth with a newfound resolve to strengthen ties with the Threx through the agreed-upon conservation project. However, their work was cut out for them as not all on Threxia were in favor of this budding partnership. As Jack spearheaded the initial planning stages of the joint conservation effort, he began receiving encrypted communications from a Threxian group identifying themselves as the Harmonists. This faction opposed the Threx High Council's isolationist and protectionist policies, advocating instead for greater integration with other species. The Harmonists, led by a Threx named Soren, sought Jack's help to promote their cause and to demonstrate to their own people the benefits of interstellar cooperation. Intrigued by this unexpected turn of events, Jack discussed the proposition with Alan and Tom. "We have an opportunity here," Jack said, pondering the risks and rewards. "If we can help the Harmonists gain more influence, we might secure a lasting peace with the Threx." Tom, ever the strategist, voiced his concerns. "It's risky. We'd be meddling in their internal politics. If we're caught, it could ruin everything we've worked for." Alan, focusing on the scientific and cultural gains, added, "But imagine the exchange of knowledge and culture if the Harmonists succeed. The potential benefits are enormous." With cautious agreement, the trio decided to support the Harmonists discreetly. They planned a covert mission to Threxia, where they would meet Soren and deliver a series of lectures and demonstrations highlighting successful Earth conservation practices and peaceful coexistence with other species. The journey back to Threxia was tense, with each member of the delegation acutely aware of the stakes. Upon arrival, they were smuggled to a remote area where the Harmonists had significant support. The meeting with Soren was enlightening. Her skin shimmered with colors of optimism and determination as she explained. "Many Threxians are curious about Earth and its diverse life. They are tired of living in fear and ignorance." Over the next few days, Jack, Alan, and Tom participated in clandestine gatherings, presenting to Threxian communities about Earth's environmental conservation techniques, the symbiotic relationships between humans and animals, and the philosophical underpinnings of respect for all life forms. Meanwhile, Soren worked to broadcast these presentations across Threxia using underground communication channels. The response was overwhelmingly positive, sparking widespread discussion and debate among the Threx populace. However, their activities did not go unnoticed. The Threx High Council, alarmed by the growing influence of the Harmonists, launched a crackdown. Jack and his team barely escaped capture, aided by Soren and her followers. In the chaos, Jack realized the profound impact of their mission. "We've started something here that can't be stopped," he told his team as they hurried back to their ship. "This is about more than just conservation now. It's about freedom and respect for diverse ways of life." As they made their escape, the skies of Threxia lit up with the colors of debate and change, signaling a potential shift in the societal fabric of the planet. The mission had been a gamble, but it was clear that the seeds of change had been sown. The situation on Threxia had reached a tipping point. Jack, Alan, and Tom, back on Earth, monitored the escalating tensions from afar. The Threx High Council had ramped up their efforts to suppress the Harmonists, fearing the growing popularity of their ideals. But the messages of unity and cooperation with Earth continued to spread among the Threxian populace. Aware that this was a critical moment, Jack proposed an ambitious plan: a direct broadcast to Threxia from Earth, showcasing detailed accounts of human interaction with animals, conservation successes, and the mutual benefits of interspecies respect. The goal was to sway public opinion on Threxia decisively in favor of the Harmonists. With careful coordination with Soren and her allies, they arranged for the broadcast to be aired simultaneously across various Threxian media channels, employing encryption methods that would make it difficult for the High Council to block or trace. As the broadcast day arrived, Jack opened with a powerful message. People of Threxia, we on Earth have learned that our strength lies not in dominion over other lives, but in cooperation and mutual respect. Today, we share our journey with you, hoping it illuminates possibilities for your own path forward. The presentation was comprehensive. Alan spoke about Earth's ecological challenges and how collaboration between different species, including humans and animals, had led to innovative solutions that benefited all. Our ecosystems thrive when diversity is embraced, not feared, he explained, showing footage of rehabilitated wildlife areas and community-led conservation projects. Tom discussed the philosophical shifts that had occurred on Earth regarding animal rights and environmental stewardship. Change is never easy, but it is necessary for survival. On Earth, we've learned to adapt our behaviors for the greater good, he said, detailing legislative reforms and cultural shifts that had gradually taken root. Meanwhile, testimonials from various Earth citizens, farmers, conservationists, urban planners, added personal touches to the narrative, illustrating the everyday impacts of these policies. On Threxia, the broadcast was received with mixed reactions. In some regions, it sparked peaceful rallies in support of the Harmonists. In others, the High Council's forces clamped down, leading to clashes and unrest. Soren, communicating covertly with Jack after the broadcast, was optimistic yet cautious. You've given us a beacon. It's now up to us to carry this light forward, she conveyed. Her determination was clear, even through the static-filled transmission. As the days passed, reports of dissent and discussion flooded Threxian social channels, with increasing numbers of Threx questioning the High Council's restrictive policies. The idea of a more open and cooperative Threxian society, one that could engage freely with other civilizations, was gaining traction. Back on Earth, the team watched the developments closely, ready to support the Threxian reformists in any way they could while maintaining diplomatic discretion. They understood the delicate balance of offering support without imposing their own values too strongly, aiming to foster genuine interstellar dialogue and respect. The broadcast had indeed been a battle for the minds and hearts of the Threxian people, one that continued to unfold with each passing day, reshaping Threxia's future in ways that none could have fully anticipated. After weeks of tumultuous developments on Threxia, the efforts of Jack, Alan, Tom, and the Harmonists began to bear fruit. The intense public debate and widespread unrest compelled the Threx High Council to reconsider their stance. Meren, the head of the council, reached out to Jack with a request for formal peace talks, signaling a potential shift in the governance of Threxia. Jack, Alan, and Tom, alongside a team of diplomats and cultural liaisons, returned to Threxia, this time greeted not with suspicion, but with a cautious hope. The talks were held in a newly established forum designed to facilitate open dialogue between the Threx and Earth representatives. Meren opened the session with a reflective tone, her skin emitting a soft, steady glow. The recent events have shown us that fear of the unknown can lead to unnecessary conflicts. We have seen the merits of your ways and heard the voices of our people calling for change. We are prepared to learn and perhaps to adapt. Jack responded warmly, understanding the monumental shift in her words. We come as friends and partners, hoping to build a future based on mutual respect and shared knowledge. Let us take these steps together, not as rulers and subjects, but as equals. The negotiations led to several groundbreaking agreements. Firstly, the Threx would officially endorse the Harmonists' movement, integrating their members into key governmental positions to gradually transition the society towards a more open and democratic system. Secondly, the Earth and Threxia agreed to establish a joint cultural and scientific exchange program aimed at fostering greater understanding and cooperation between the two species. As part of the closing ceremony, Jack and Maren planted a tree native to Threxia in the grounds of the council building, a symbol of growing friendship and interlinked futures. Jack spoke at the event, reflecting on the journey. This tree will grow and thrive, fed by the soil of Threxia and nurtured by the hands of both Threxians and humans. May it stand as a testament to our shared commitment to peace and prosperity. Upon their return to Earth, the team was celebrated for their diplomatic success. However, for Jack, the true victory was the personal connections he had forged. In his office, he kept a hologram of the tree, a constant reminder of the delicate balance between fear and understanding and the incredible possibilities that lay in embracing the latter. Reflecting on the entire experience, Jack penned a memoir titled Interstellar Dialogues: Bridging Worlds Through Understanding. In it, he explored the nuances of first contact and subsequent negotiations, emphasizing the critical role of empathy, respect, and open communication in overcoming fear and prejudice. As the years passed, the Earth-Threxia relationship blossomed, with exchanges in technology, culture, and philosophy enriching both societies. The conservation projects flourished, becoming a model for other interstellar relations. Sitting in his study, looking at the stars, Jack mused on the unpredictable nature of the universe, where a single act of understanding could alter the course of history. He smiled, hopeful for the future, a future where humanity and Threxia, once so alien to each other, could share a path toward greater understanding and unity.